If you've been looking for a canopy for the Bronco, I think I might have found something that works. Pictured here is the solely inflatable canopy. And this thing, I think, checks all the boxes for something that is not only large and can fit more than two people under it, but it is something that packs down to a reasonable size so that it fits in a Bronco without having to put your back seats down. First things first, why would you want a canopy? One of my favorite things to do is to be out on the beach, chilling the Bronco, just relax. And that's fine. But what if you want to share that experience with somebody? Two people in the Bronco is fine. Three people, four people, not so much. If that's going to be the situation, then you're going to need some sort of shelter. So a canopy is going to allow some flexibility so that you can get onto the beach and set up something so that you don't have the sun beating down on you for 4, 5, 6 hours, maybe more, right? I'm going to roll this video forward. There's a couple other products I'm going to show you in here. We've got some things from Orange Screw. We've got something from Annie Maka. And let's just let this roll. I'm going to zoom in on the legs here. And what I'm showing are the Orange Screw products. One of the reasons why I'm showing this is because the Soli is, let me pause it here. The Soli is an inflatable. And inflatable or not, these things have to be staked down. Inflatable is going to be honestly somewhat lighter in some cases, but if you think about a metal canopy or something that is a little bit more heavy duty, is it going to blow away? Probably not. But in all cases, you're going to stake down your canopies, your gazebos, your tents. This is a thing. We all know this. Well, the company Orange Screw has some products that are a little bit better than what you tend to get with any of your tents, canopies, or gazebos. You have the larger gauge sand screw here, and that's what I'm using. I'm using their Posilock paracord, which is pretty much just a paracord that is a little bit more textured. I want to say knotty, but it's not knotty. But if you ran your fingers over it, it would feel like knots. It simply holds knots better. I'm someone who is into rope and knots. I like doing my own rigging, so I wanted to try out some different products here. I do want to say that solely when you make a purchase, they give you everything. You get the canopy, you get the inflator and deflator pump, you get your stakes, and you also get your guy straps. And I'm saying straps on purpose because they give you flat straps. I don't think that is the best way to do this, and that's why I'm showing you this rigging. So we'll let this roll a little bit more. And as I walk up to it, you'll see here that each leg does have a D-ring here, a metal D-ring. So whatever you're doing, they give you attachment points for your straps or your rigging on each leg. That's 100. Obviously, that's what you want to do. It's standard fare. Um, I'm gonna move around the Bronco here and let me pause it. The Soli is a dome-shaped canopy. So if you think about it, putting a square thing into a round thing or round-ish thing is not going to be perfect. One of the things that I really like about the Soli here, and what really allowed me to pull the trigger on it, was that for this 12 by 12 canopy, the Bronco pretty much fits under it. The fabric's a little bunched up here. It actually looks like the Bronco's not not really under it. It is. It's just bunched up. It's a bad angle that I stopped it at. But regardless, this was not going to be a perfect fit, and that's okay for me. I'm not looking for a perfect fit. I actually kind of like the fact that I have this area here because if I put up, let's say, three screen panels, and the Sully does have optional sunshades and screen panels that you can purchase, I don't have to use the zips to get into the Sully. I can just come in through the side of the Bronco here. Let me let this play a little bit further, and you'll see on the other side, there's pretty much the same amount of room. And as we walk up to it on this side, I'm showing off the orange screw stuff again, but we'll let this pan up and stop it here. You'll see that the Bronco is indeed under the Soli. Now, that's one of the wins, right? Because being able to access your vehicle while under some sort of shelter is a big deal. And like I said, if you want to have more people with you, this just makes the experience all kind of come together, right? I can put four people under a shelter, access whatever I have in the back of the Bronco. Your chairs are going to come out, your camp grill, whatever you have, right? It just brings it all together. Let's roll this forward a little bit more. Still showing some of the rigging here, and let's just stop it right here. This is the Animaka hammock stand. So I'm including this and purposely showing it because I wanted to give you a sense of how much room was under the Soli, and there is a lot of room. I mean, saying it's 12 by 12, okay, fine, but what does that really mean? And this hopefully will give you an idea. Um, the hammock pictured is actually the Bronco hammock that a lot of us probably got because we were waiting for our Broncos after we did the original um, order. And I wanted to show it so that you can get some sense of size. The Animaka is in its shorter configuration, or what they call a chair configuration. For me, lounging in the hammock, like just like actually lounging in it as a hammock, I use it like this. I fit in it. I'm not the tallest guy. I'm not the shortest guy. Sort of average height, if you will, and I fit in there just fine. But if you had four camp chairs and a table, this would all fit under here as well. So that's why I wanted to include it, just to give you some sense of size for the Animaka. So this was checking all the boxes for me, and that's why I'm doing the video. What's the competitor, right? What's a similar product? Well, the only other thing that I was thinking about were some of the hub style gazebos, if you will. If you're familiar with Gazelle or with the Clam series from Kwikset, you know what I'm talking about. These are the hub style pop-up shelters that you just go around, you pop the sides out, and it's less than a minute to set up. The Soli is not that quick. It's less than 5 minutes. So in my book, that's still quick. But the advantage with the Soli compared to some of the other pop-up shelters is that it packs down smaller. And that's really what drove my purchase of the Soli. The hub style products are, when they say there's nothing to assemble, there truly is nothing to assemble. You can purchase those. They'll have the screens on them. They'll have the sunshades, the equivalent of a sunshade, but like the solid panel. You roll that up. It's all assembled. You don't have to do anything. Whereas with the Soli, you'll see here this black strip right here. Well, that's actually the zipper path, right? So I purchased actually three sunshades and three screens, and they can zip on. Okay, it's quick. It's not hard to do. Not a big deal, right? But it's something you have to do just to be fair about it, right? You don't have to do that with the hub style products. The hub style products, however, are not going to easily fit in the Bronco. Even in a four door, you're probably going to have to, not probably, you're definitely going to have to put your back seats, both of them, down. If you put the 60% side down, you're probably not going to have enough diagonal reach. You're going to have to probably lift it up a little bit so it's diagonal and then up. So, yeah, it'll fit, but you're just taking up a lot of the space in there to make it fit. So, for me, the Soli is just a better product because of the pack size. Weight is going to be comparable. The Soli says it's 17 pounds. Just round it up and call it 20. That's fine. It's not heavy, right? You're going from the Bronco right outside of it, right? This is a beach scenario. So if you were at a park, it might be different. If you're in the forest, uh, might be different, but probably a similar sort of thing. You pull into a campsite and, you're just right there walking, less than 50 feet or something like that. You get the idea, though. It's not heavy, and you can carry, something that is on the heavier side, if you will, at least maybe 50 feet, 30 to 50 feet. It's not heavy, though. Now, putting the cons aside, let's just talk about I'm sorry, putting the pros aside, let's just talk about a couple of cons because it's not perfect. It works for me, but no product I think is perfect. The weight could be an issue for some people. Um, Solely in their marketing stuff, they'll show you people carrying this inflatable. I don't think that's realistic. It does not pack down. I'll show you. I'll show you what happens when you try to get it back in its bag, and some of you guys know what's coming when I say that. But it is unwieldy. Okay, when you deflate this, you got to roll up the legs, you and then put them on top of each other, and then you kind of fold it together, and then you're gonna put it in your storage, um, your storage that you have for it. Now, if you're using their device, what's likely to happen is what happened to me, which is what you see here. One large rip in this case and a little smaller one. And I can tell you there's, I think, at least one other rip on here, maybe two. Okay. This is after the second outing, and the second outing is from the pictures of the beach I'm showing you. I set it up at home just to make sure I understood the product. Somehow got it back in a bag. It did not survive the next outing to the beach that I'm showing you. So uh, this is not something that is good in terms of the packing it down and getting it back into its storage. I call that deflating and packing anxiety. And that is a negative. Now, the way I solved it is by going to Ace Hardware, getting a $20 Durasack. And as you see here, not only do I have the Soli, but I have the three mesh panels. You see one of them here. The three sunshades, you see one of them here. And all the stuff from Orange Screw. And that's not only the larger sand screws, there's four of them in here, but I've got the small, I'm calling them sand screws, but they're large gauge screws. And they're appropriate for sand. But I've got four smaller gauge screws that are appropriate for, the forest, the park. Those are in here. The drill attachment is also in here. The spikes that come with the Soli and their straps, you can't see it. Those are all in here too. Even though I'm not going to use them, they're in here. And look at all this room I have left. I I don't even know what else I'd put in here, but there's plenty of room. Just whatever you're going to throw in, you throw in there, right? And Durasack, really nice product. It's going to be waterproof. It's got a coating on it, so you can drag it on the ground and not have to worry about it if that happens. So $20 device solved the problem. I heard from Soli they said they're going to redesign their 12 by 12 um, storage sack. I honestly don't care. I think this just works better for me. Um, but I appreciate that they recognized a deficiency and they're going to fix this problem. But what I will say, in sort of bringing this video to a conclusion, is that the Soli is a win for me. There are other shelters you could get, standard canopies, the old school sort of rectangular ones with the metal legs and structure underneath. Sure, you could get that and set it up, guy it out, and that would work for you. For me, I was looking for something that was quick to set up, quick to take down, and had a pack size that was small enough to fit in the Bronco without putting my back seats down. And none of the hub style stuff is really going to do that. And I honestly did not even really look at any of the standard canopies just because those are not going to hold up as much in terms of wind. Guying something out 10, 15 feet, yeah, you can and you should do that so that your shelter doesn't blow away. But to be honest, some beaches do have space restrictions, and I want to be as efficient as possible. Um, Pulling out, you can see here. I mean, some of these vehicles are pretty close together. You see here in the background. I was pretty far back because one, I like to be pretty far back from the crowd, and two, I wanted to really test this product. So, I was able to do that. But, if you're further up towards where the water is, obviously more people are going to be there. And, being a little bit more efficient and kind to your neighbor, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's one of the reasons why I think the Soli is also a win. It's just as a dome shape, it's just going to handle wind better, and you don't have to guide things out 10, 15 feet. Even though the stuff they give you, that's pretty much what you're going to end up having to do. You may come up with some other riggings yourself if you're so inclined. But in any event, there you have it. I wanted to just walk through those those other products in addition to the Soli, but the star of the show is the Soli. And if found this useful, I'm glad you did. But either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.